Hi, this is Alan Diwan, and in my previous video, we were talking about the idea of self-development, and I would like to take this thought further and talk more about self-development. But before I can do that, I would just like to ask you a question, and please think of this question and contemplate on it, and it will help us. Questions help us develop ourselves. So the question is it possible that if you were to work hard and put in extra time, you could increase your productivity by 2% in the next month? Can you increase? So the question to ask yourself is, can you increase your productivity, your current level of productivity, whatever you are doing in your lives, can you increase it by just 2%? That is half percent a week. Can you increase it? Now, how do you increase it? You can deploy better better time management, better studies, preparing yourself more, working harder, working smarter. And if you were to do all this by reading more, by studying more, can you increase your by developing more, can you increase your productivity? And the answer is absolutely yes, you can. You can easily increase your productivity by 2%. Now, could you increase your productivity in the month after that and in the third month? And if we continuously increase our productivity, in 1 year we would have increased our productivity by about 26%, and in about 3 to 4 years by 100%, in about 10 years about 1,000%. So if we keep slowly and continuously developing ourselves, making ourselves better at what we do, we can increase and we can become an international authority on that particular subject or that particular field in about 7 to 10 years. So how do we develop ourselves more? What do we do? What are the things that uh, we have to attain, or what are the things that we have to do? So first thing is, we have to have a clear set of goal. What is our aim? What do we want to achieve? Where do we want to develop? In which field we want to develop? Is it our health? Is it our mental issues? Mentally we want to prepare ourselves more? Is it in our particular field? I'm a chef by trade, so in my cooking skills I want to increase, or I'm also a businessman and an entrepreneur. Would I like to become a better entrepreneur, a better businessman? So what are the things, what are the key areas that I want to develop my skills in? Now, once I've determined that, I should be willing to pay the price that I need to pay to become an authority in that particular price. So first we have to know in which field we have to develop ourselves. Secondly, we have to know what is the price we have to pay, and thirdly, we have to ask ourselves, are we willing to pay that price? So if we are willing to pay that price, then the second thing we must do is get rid of the things that bring zero productivity or zero success or zero development in our lives, things that are just time wasters. Now, I spent yesterday and day before yesterday watching a mini series on Netflix, which was very entertaining, and I really enjoyed it, but it was a time waster. So I'm not saying that I am on that path at the moment, but I do realize, and I've reduced spending time on social media, just wasting my time on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook. I've reduced watching shows and watching. I've reduced going to the movies. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't have good family time or good entertainment time, or just time to relax and enjoy, but are we willing to pay the price to reduce the time wasters in our lives? Now, once we have done that, then the next thing to do is, we have to start and get in the habit of reading. Now, this is a skill that I thought just belonged in the college and in the university, when I was in the university. And after I finished my university, I hardly spent any time reading. And I realized now what a big mistake that was. So an average person doesn't even read one book a year, doesn't even read one book a year, and that is myself included a couple of months ago. So a couple of months ago things started to change, and I started to develop myself, and I started to really start reading. And I've been reading all the years, but not decisively, and not knowingly what I'm reading, and not going towards a particular or a certain goal. So we have to attain certain books and certain articles, or in whatever field that we are studying, and we have to consciously study that, set time apart daily to study that. So now the research says, the Gallup Foundation did a research many years ago, and which stated that about 58% of Americans, so the research is done in the States, so 58% of Americans do not read even a single book after their university or college or whatever. This is non-fictional. Combined non-fictional and fictional, it is about 25%. So non-fictional, it's about 58%. So something that is biographical or educational or self-developmental books are read very few. Now the pewresearch.org, you can find this study that I'm going to share with you, in which it says, and the study is done in the United States, in which it says that 24% of Americans do not read a single book. Now this means, so the rest of the people, which are the 76%, even if they've read one book or part of a book, they are considered to have read a book. And this is fictional and non-fictional. Now in this 24%, 36% are the people who earn, so 36% who earn $30,000 or less a year. It's 36% who do not read a single book, that's included part of the book. And the figures go lower when it is between 30,000 and 75,000, it's 18%. And people who are above 75,000 a year, that is 13%. So you see, as the pay rise, or as the people's income has risen, study has shown us that the amount of books that the people read has also increased. So your income is directly related to how much you educate, you develop yourself. So part of the thing to do is to develop yourself. Now how can you do that? I have I've been a night person all my life. I've been a restaurant person, and I've changed that habit now. I started to wake up earlier, much earlier, not as early as I would like to, but much earlier. And the first thing I do is do a little bit of sit-ups or some exercise for 10, 15, 20 minutes, and then I spend some time in reading. I read something spiritual, then I read something educational. So spending at least 30 to 60 minutes a day is essential for your self-development, and that can be in any field of your choice, whatever you want to study, business or education or health or religion or whatever you want to study. Spend some time daily in educating yourself. The second thing you can do to educate yourself is listen to audiobooks or listen to podcasts daily. So daily listening to audiobooks or podcasts, and you can do that. And now we have devices where everything is so much accessible. It's unbelievable. Now if you're traveling in a tram, you're traveling on a train, you're driving, you're walking, you're just going around, you're doing your daily chores, Audible or any other podcast, just pop in your headphones and listen to it, and you can develop yourself much more. Or you can attend some courses or seminars, or keeping to educate yourself. It is very important. If one was to read a book in a month, which is very much possible if you just spend a few minutes per day, you would be developing yourself so much. But if you were to spend 1 hour a day reading, you could finish one book in a week. 4 books, that's 4 books in a month. That's 56 books in a year. So 52 books in a year. And that is going to change so much. Over 10 years, that's going to be 520 books. 520 books in the field that you want to develop yourself in. You know, thinking that we already know is going to cause us so much harm. Ignorance is something that leads to our downfall, leads to us not living a successful life, and we think that, oh, I know already. And so the first idea in developing ourselves and becoming successful is the fact to realize that I do not know and I need to study, I need to educate myself. And if we can commit to education, if we can commit to studying every day, take some time out to study every day, we will be going towards a much more successful life, a much more happier, much more fulfilled life. And in my next videos, I'm going to share some more points on how to develop ourselves. Thank you very much for listening. This is Alan.